In this video, we're going to cover why narcissists are the way they are. And as a bonus, I'm going to give you some advice on how to disarm them so you can protect your own peace. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Brandon. I have over 500,000 people that follow my daily insights across my social media platforms. I love helping people overcome tough times, rebuilding their confidence, and see clarity and see what's been holding them back. My goal is very simple. It's to give you the tools and the clarity and strength so you can protect your peace and move forward with your life. So, let's get started. Narcissists don't just act this way for no reason. There's a deeper story behind the way they are. The truth is, most of it is rooted in their early years. Many narcissists grew up in environments where love was inconsistent. Sometimes they were praised, sometimes they were ignored, and sometimes they were even shamed for simply being themselves. Some were overindulged, made to feel special without learning empathy or accountability. Others were neglected or criticized until they created a false version of themselves just to survive. This false self became their armor on the outside, and it can look like confidence. But on the inside, it's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being ordinary, fear of not being loved for who they truly are. So what you see as arrogance or manipulation today often stems from a deep wound in childhood. They learn to perform, to charm, and to control because being vulnerable felt too dangerous for them. And this is where the cycle begins. Now that you understand where narcissism begins, let's go deeper into how those early wounds actually create the patterns you see in adulthood. Narcissism is not just a personality trait, it's a survival strategy. As children, they learned that being vulnerable meant getting hurt. So as adults, they build a wall. Instead of showing the fear, they project control. Instead of admitting insecurity, they show grandiosity. It looks like confidence, but it's not. It's just protection. The narcissist's greatest fear is being seen as ordinary, or being rejected, or seen as unworthy. So they create a mask that basically demands admiration and control over everyone around them. Think of it this way. A healthy person feels safe enough to admit when they're wrong, to ask for help and let other people see their flaws. A narcissist can't risk that. To them, admitting weakness feels like fear and death. This is why their charm is so powerful in the beginning and why their anger can be so explosive later. Both are tools to keep you from ever seeing their insecurity that lives underneath. And this brings us on to one of the biggest misconceptions about narcissists. People think that they're confident. The truth is, they're some of the most insecure people you will ever meet. Their arrogance is a mask for their shame. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because these insecurities don't just stay hidden, they show up in the stories and myths people believe about narcissists. And once we clear those up, the patterns become crystal clear. So, now that we've uncovered how narcissists are actually created, let's clear up some of the biggest myths that keep people confused and stuck. Myth number one, narcissists don't know what they're doing. This is one of the most damaging beliefs because it keeps people giving them endless chances. The truth is, they know exactly how their behaviour affects you. When they ignore your boundaries, these are intentional tactics. They may not sit down and write out a plan, but they're highly aware of what gets them power and control in this moment. Believing they just don't realise what's going on keeps you stuck in the cycle of trying to explain when in reality they already know. Myth number two, they can't change. This one's tricky. Narcissists can change, but most never will. And this is why. Because real change would mean dropping the mask and facing the deep shame they've been running from all of their lives. That requires accountability, consistent therapy, and genuine willingness to change. And for many narcissists, admitting they need help feels impossible. So while it's technically possible, You cannot live your life hoping your love or patience will make them change. This is just not how it works. Myth number 3. Narcissists love themselves. On the surface, they look confident, even arrogant, but the reality is they're completely the opposite. They don't love themselves. They depend on external validation to fill a hole inside that never truly goes away. That's why they constantly need admiration. They need attention and control. Their behaviour is not born from self-love, it's born from self-doubt and emptiness inside. And when you can see through these myths, it can start to change everything. You stop excusing their behaviours, you stop waiting for them to be different, and you start to recognise the truth that their actions are a reflection of their wounds, not on your own self-worth. And now that we've cleared up these myths, it's time to look at how their behaviours actually play out in their closest relationships. Because this is where the damage becomes the most personal and the hardest to ignore. At first it feels like a dream. Narcissists are masters of idealization. They will shower you with attention, affection and promises. They make you feel like you finally met your soulmate. This stage is powerful because it hooks you emotionally and it creates the bond that makes leaving them later so difficult. But this stage never lasts. Once they feel secure and that they've got you, the devaluation begins. The same person who once called you perfect now picks apart everything you do. They criticize and withhold affection and use silent treatments to keep you chasing the version of them you first met. Control is at the core of all of this. Narcissists can't stand the idea of their partner being fully independent. If you succeed, they feel threatened. If you shine, they see it as competition. Instead of celebrating your wins, they try to pull you down, so the balance of power stays in their favor. And this is why relationships with narcissists feel like walking on eggshells. One moment they're charming, the next they're jealous or cold. The inconsistency isn't random, it's deliberate. And it keeps you focused on trying to please them instead of noticing how toxic the relationship has actually become. They don't want equality in love, they want control. And the moment you try to claim your own power, they will use every tactic they can to bring you back under theirs. One of the most damaging things a narcissist does in a relationship is they flip the script and make you feel like you're the problem. This is called projection. Whatever they don't want to face in themselves, they throw onto you. If they're being controlling, they'll accuse you of being controlling. If they're hiding something, they'll accuse you of being secretive. If they feel insecure, they'll say you're the jealous one. It's a defense mechanism. By blaming you, they don't have to look at their own behavior. And the longer you stay in the relationship, the more you start to wonder if they're right. Gaslighting takes this even further. They twist reality until you doubt your own memory, your own perception, even your own sanity. You start to second guess everything. Maybe I didn't overreact. Maybe I am being too sensitive. Maybe I am the problem. And this is exactly how they keep control. If you believe you're the one at fault, you'll keep trying harder to fix things. You'll keep giving them the benefit of the doubt. And all the while, they're avoiding accountability. The result is devastating. Many survivors walk away from these relationships feeling like they were the narcissist. They carry shame and self-blame that doesn't belong to them. If that's you, I want you to hear this. You are not the narcissist. The very fact that you're questioning yourself is proof. Narcissists don't reflect on their own behavior. They don't sit awake at night wondering if they hurt someone. That's what empathetic people do. So, if you've been made to feel like you're the problem, know this. That is their projection, not your truth. And now that you see how this works, the question becomes, where does this leave you? And what can you actually do about it? The first thing I want you to hear is, none of this was your fault. Narcissistic behaviour is rooted in their wounds and not your worth. What you can do is protect yourself by learning the patterns. Knowledge really is your shield. When you can see the cycles clearly, you stop blaming yourself and you stop waiting for them to change. Start by setting boundaries that are clear and firm. A narcissist will push against them every time, but boundaries aren't about controlling them. They're about protecting you. Practice emotional detachment. That means no longer feeding the cycle with constant explanations or defending yourself against lies. The less supply they get from you, the weaker their hold becomes. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your value. Narcissists thrive when you feel isolated, so build a strong support system. That's one of the most powerful things you can do. And finally, let go of the fantasy. Stop holding the vision of them that you met in the beginning. That was the mask. The real healing begins when you stop chasing the illusion and start reclaiming yourself. Understanding why narcissists are the way they are doesn't excuse them, but it frees you to finally see the truth and protect your own peace. And if this helped you today, let me know in the comments. I reply to all of them personally. Make sure you subscribe, because what I'm going to share on my next video might just change everything you thought you knew about relationships altogether.